The new Power Rangers movie is the most recent adaptation of the extremely long-running TV series about teens with attitude fighting the forces of evil together with extremely choreographed motions and all types of cheesiness we've come to love. At least I'm pretty sure that's what it's about, because to be honest, I never really watched Power Rangers. I don't know, I had some action figures, I dressed up for Halloween one year, but just never really watched it. All I know is, it's about teenagers, they wear colorful costumes, they fight Rita Repulsa, let's see, there's Zordon, who's just a head in a tube, and there's a robot named Alpha. That's all I knew going into this movie, and you know what? It was really fun. I actually really enjoyed it, surprisingly. It was a lot darker and more serious, which I was kind of expected. The trailer seemed to head in that direction, but it went more so than I thought it would, and actually, it did it pretty good. I've seen some other adaptations of things when they go the dark and gritty route, and it doesn't really work out that well. But honestly, this did it really well. But of course, I'm speaking as someone who's not a fan. I don't know how good an adaptation this movie is. Fans might watch and hate it, so just keep in mind that whatever I'm about to say is coming from someone who knows next to nothing about Power Rangers. But honestly, the acting in this movie and the characters were really good. Like, seriously. It is strange to think that the Power Rangers movie is 3/4 the teenagers talking about their troubles and their relationships with each other and dealing with each other and learning how to be the Power Rangers. But it actually worked. I actually cared about what was happening to these kids. There were actually a few scenes where I almost forgot I was watching Power Rangers. But then we have the other quarter of the movie, which is the kind of things we would expect. The kids in the suits, robots, monsters, aliens, all that good stuff. And so, but in a weird way, that makes the tone of the movie strange, because most of it is very serious and done very well, but the other half is sci-fi action and one-liners and silly moments and some product placement. We're gonna get to that in a second. Yeah, everybody and their mother who's reviewed this movie has talked about this, and I'd be a fool not to. But let's just keep talking about the really good stuff in this movie. For one thing, the Blue Ranger, Billy Cranston, he's autistic in this movie. And when I first heard about one of the Power Rangers being autistic, I didn't know what to think. I was hoping they'd handle it well, but it could easily have backfired and gone horribly. He was actually my favorite character. Most of the humor came from him, but it didn't feel like they were making fun of autistic people. He just happened to be autistic, and he was funny. Again, going back to that, I don't know a lot about Power Rangers, but I'm pretty sure that in the original one, Billy was the brains, and he is here too. And he's actually the one that seems to have the most fun of the group. But as serious and well done as it is, it does kind of fall into the superhero origin story cliches. There are the characters getting their powers, getting used to their powers, having all their trouble. There's a training montage, but that was also a lot of fun. That's how I would describe this movie, just fun, but more serious than you expect it to be. In some ways, it kind of reminds me of the Lego movie, and that we have a concept that had no business being good, but people actually really worked on it and really tried, and it really showed, and it was really, really enjoyable. And again, this is coming from someone that never liked Power Rangers. Now, I don't really have any intentions of going back and watching the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers or any of the other ones, but I'm probably going to buy this movie when it comes out. Now, when it comes to the age group and everything, there were a couple more adult jokes, which we expect from these kind of movies, a little bit of language, but when I saw it in the theaters, I heard a kid behind me, maybe 6 or something, and he was loving it, so it really depends on the kids whether or not they'll like it. Rita Repulsa actually does have some rather frightening moments. She actually kills a few people, and they don't show it, but what they imply is kind of gruesome, so it might bother some kids. But then again, she also has her fair share of silly moments, too. I guess I'm kind of going into spoiler territory here, even though I think it's in the thumbnail what I'm about to show. But let's just get to it. You remember when I was talking about that product placement? Yeah, no, wait, this is the front. Yeah. Krispy Kreme, ladies and gentlemen. Krispy Kreme plays a major role in Power Rangers. I'm not kidding. It's actually, like, important to the plot. I don't want to spoil it. I'll give you a heads up when I go in the spoiler territory. But I think it's funny, which I think we're supposed to think so. But again, talking about how the tone's all over the place, for a mostly serious movie, to have Krispy Kreme play such an important part, I don't know what to think. I'm still kind of flabbergasted about it. But the fact that I remember that and I'm still talking about this movie shows something about it. So now, that's pretty much all I have to say about the movie without going into spoilers. So I'm about to start talking about spoilers. If you don't like that, click away now, or just mute it so you can keep looking at this beautiful box of Krispy Kremes. Alright, here I go. The ancient crystal that Rita Repulsa's after that'll allow her to, like, basically take over the world is hidden under a Krispy Kreme store. Well, it's not hidden. A Krispy Kreme was built on top of it. And they find out, because Billy did all this research about where the crystal was, and found out that was under the Krispy Kreme. And Rita tortures them to get the information, and when Billy tells her it's a Krispy Kreme, she actually, like, stops and goes, Krispy Kreme. Sounds like an important place. Or something like that. And I know that was a horrible Rita impression, but whatever. Forgot to mention, Alpha is like the little robot guy, the little sidekick, and he's most of the comic relief, but besides Billy, but he is slightly annoying at times. I didn't think he was too bad. I was just having so much fun, like, whatever, the robot's being silly. And Zordon, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, it is important to the plot. Zordon was one of the original Power Rangers, or at least the ones before the main kids, 65 million years ago, and he died, and his consciousness was installed there. His consciousness was put on his alien ship. So instead of the old ones where he's a head in a tube, he's a face in a wall, and he's played by Bryan Cranston, most famously known as Hal from Malcolm in the Middle, and from that other show people talked about, what was that? It was everywhere for a while. Breaking Malcolm. Yeah, that sequel, that was really weird. Anywho, so yeah, Power Rangers was a lot of fun. It was definitely better than it deserved to be. Maybe fans won't like it, maybe they will, I don't know. I just know as its own movie, it was enjoyable, even though it did fall into the tropes at times, but it's Power Rangers, so you shouldn't take it as seriously, but the filmmakers took it seriously, and it actually worked out pretty good. So, you know what? Don't take my word for it. Check it out for yourself, and you know what? Go see this movie. No, that was bad, sorry. This is good, though. This is really good. This stuff could save the world right here. Holy moly, that's good. You people will watch anything, won't you? Power Rangers is the latest adaptation of the extreme. The new Power Rangers movie is the new adaptation. The new Power Rangers movie is the most recent adaptation of the extremely long-running TV series.